It's not much of a surprise, is it? Fallout New Vegas is my favorite video game of all time. What can I say? It's changed my life for the better, in the way that not any other video game has. But beyond that, it's just a really good game. Probably the best open world RPG that I have played. I really appreciate just how much freedom this game gives you. And that's really the biggest strength, is how much freedom you get. You can build your character however you choose. There's no predetermined backstory. There's no preset motivation for why you want to play the game. It just lets you loose and lets you figure out what you want to do and what your motivations are. In some ways, it's a power fantasy. Everyone in the game is susceptible to being killed. Nobody has plot armor. If you want to play as a complete sociopath and gun everybody down, that is a viable way to play the game. But more importantly for me, it allows the player to get through the game killing hardly anybody. Being a complete pacifist and renouncing violence is a largely valid playstyle. And I gotta say, it's a breath of fresh air. I know this game is older than a lot of modern releases, but going back to it always feels refreshing, because I honestly just get tired of these modern RPGs where you have to kill waves upon waves of nameless enemies, raiders, bandits, pirates. It is a prerequisite for these games to have a kill count in the hundreds, if not thousands. It is mandatory, but not New Vegas. New Vegas says it's an option. And not even the most optimal option. In fact, you're largely discouraged from being a homicidal maniac because it is a game that wants you to care about the characters, to actually want to earn their trust and build up a strong reputation with the factions you align with. Almost no quest is mandatory. If you don't like a mission, you just don't do that mission. And if you don't like a faction, you either ignore or eliminate that faction. Most quests have multiple ways to resolve them. Sure, violence is an option, usually suboptimal. You can also put a lot of legwork in, a little bit of elbow grease, and spend some time with people to actually get a more optimal outcome. And depending on your character build, and sometimes previous choices, you might even find a shortcut to a peaceful resolution. Or maybe not peaceful, but an outcome you'd prefer. The multiple different ways to complete quests or subvert them entirely, combined with the multiple endings you can get, means that this game has a lot of replayability. And I have gone back and beaten it several times, as I'm sure a lot of people have. And every single time I go back to it, I find more secrets tucked away, more things I didn't know about the game. There is so much I can say about this game that I simply don't have the time for today. It has oh so many strengths, but also it's got its weaknesses, its flaws, and in general, it's just not going to be a game for everyone. I know there are people out there who wouldn't consider this the best game of all time, or even the best Fallout. But I think it's great, and I think there are a lot of games out there being released, these modern open-world RPGs, that are still falling flat, failing to live up to the lofty expectations set by this game. And not only is the game itself incredibly strong, but also the modding community has been amazing. There are so many great mods out there to improve the quality of life, adding more modern mechanics, new quests and adventures, and fun things to find. There are dozens of mods for Fallout New Vegas that are more enjoyable than Fallout 4, and there are hundreds more enjoyable than Fallout 76. Is that an exaggeration? No, I think I could probably find 200 mods I'd rather play than Fallout 76. I have had so much fun with this game over the last decade, and I foresee myself enjoying it for many years to come. Honestly, I could talk about this game for hours, and maybe sometime in the future I'll do an incredibly comprehensive and way too deep, over-analytical piece on it, talking about every little minute detail. But for now, I just want to say that it is my number one game of all time, the one I've probably spent the most time in. I really enjoyed the game, and enjoyed the mods for it, and enjoyed making mods for it myself, playing around with the modding creation kit, engaging with the community, and seeing what unique and interesting stories these mod authors have to tell. It's just great.